Hello there. How are y'all doing today? I'm Andrea Johnson. I am the Intentional Optimist, and I am here with my good friend, Dana Dunton. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back.
This is what we call our guest speaker series. And what I do when I interview women on my podcast is I get their story and I find out how they've landed where they are as unconventional leaders and how they are great examples for the rest of us to follow. And Dana was on a recent podcast episode, 85, and we were able to talk a little bit about her story and how she came to be the owner of Mainstream Boutique in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So I said, you know what? You've got a really unique perspective and a really interesting skill set. And you know what, Dina? Right now, I need to make sure that we can see you really well on the screen. So I'm going to pop over here to Facebook and make sure that everything looks okay. And
Okay.
so because you're in vertical and I'm in horizontal, but while I'm doing this, why don't you tell us a little bit about, nope, it looks great. So it's still
Okay.
either way, tell us a little bit about Mainstream and what you do with your clients. And then we'll walk through kind of what you're going to share with us today from your personal expertise.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Mainstream Boutique is actually a franchise. So we say we have a sisterhood of about 90 stores. The great thing though is there's a lot of flexibility, and I do all of the buying for our location here at our store in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. My dream was always to own a store, but I didn't know the first thing about going into business, being a teacher. So it was really great to have that franchise support and backing. They've even helped me with the presentation that we're going to show in a little bit so that I've got all of my ducks in a row.
Right.
But the real reason why I wanted to open a store was because in my journey of life, and as women, we gain weight, we lose weight. And I just found that once I stopped dressing for a size, like saying I have to be in a size small, and then once that became not anything, I had to be in a size medium, and I was so constricted. And once I just blew that out of my mind and said, you know what? Sometimes I'm going to be small. Sometimes I'm going to be a medium. Sometimes I'm going to be an extra large because there is no consistency in clothing in manufacturers. So once I started dressing to fit my body and how it made me feel, it was amazing the difference I felt. I actually just being that switch of mentality helped me start to lose weight all on its own because I stopped obsessing about it and I stopped obsessing about holding up to someone else's stereotypical norms and just what made me feel good.
Mm.
So that is, I wanted to be able to share that story and help the women that came into our store feel the same way.
You know,
So here,
I totally I feel you. I mean, it's like I want to go back to this whole I needed to fit in a small. And I famously or not, I don't know, have lost 180-ish pounds with gastric bypass. But even 17 years later, I still look at sizes and go, oh, I need to be in an extra small, or I need to, and we get completely locked in on what that means about us and what that says about us. And we don't take into consideration that we don't have any control over what those sizes actually are
right. Yeah,
at all.
there's no standard to it.
Right.
So to hold yourself to that is really, I don't want to say it's silly because hello, I did it too, but it's just one
It's
of those mental,
normal.
right. It's a completely normal thing. And the other thing that's normal that I think women need to realize is that we all have something that we don't like about ourselves. It's just, that's
Yeah.
the way we are, and sometimes like the fashion trends that are coming in, like I know the mid part is the on trend hairstyle. I will never do a middle part because that doesn't flatter my funky forehead. So once we kind of, like I said, we stop trying to get ourselves to what we think society thinks we should be or what society thinks we look good and just dress to make ourselves feel better and look
Mhm.
better. It's amazing just the difference in mentality that it can bring. So when the women come in to shop, that's what we're here to try and help do.
So let me ask a question before we get into the different shapes, because that's what we're going to, this is classic information. And those of you watching this video, if you have not learned this piece yet, this will like blow your mind, because it's the logic behind how clothes fit, right? So that's what she's going to share with us
Right.
today. But I want to really quick go back to the idea of what's the difference between saying, well, I feel really good in sweatpants and a sweatshirt all day, or actually what you do, which is helping people understand how our bodies are made, and we can feel good in clothes that actually are very flattering.
Yeah, well, and I get it. Like, we all went through 2020 and learned to love
In
our yoga
2021.
pants and leggings, and that was really hard to get people back into blue jeans after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's understanding that you can have clothes that are fashionable, but still very, very comfortable.
Mm.
And that, I'm guilty. I run to the store in my sweatpants and all of that, but sometimes it's nice to put on a pair of blue jeans and a cute t-shirt and cute tennies, and I'm still comfortable, but I just feel a little bit more put together. And
Yeah.
sometimes our self-esteem and that change of routine, we kind of need that to kickstart us to the day or to get motivated to do something else.
So do you find that people can take this information and do it on their own, or is it good to have an extra set of eyes?
It really depends.
Okay.
Uh, sometimes people just they need someone there to walk them through. They can do all of the research and they still maybe just can't see how color combinations go together or, what has structure and what doesn't have structure. And that's where we come in our store is we are
Okay.
here to help walk you through that. Sometimes like me, all we needed is a little bit of Pinterest and maybe a presentation like this to
Yeah.
understand, and we can kind of pick it up. And, at our boutique, we see both kinds of shoppers. We see people that come in and they're like, nope, I don't need any help. Like, let me know if I'll let you know if I need help with sizes, and they're good. And then we have women that come in and they're like, I hate shopping. I don't know where to start. It makes me a little sweaty. Like, help me, please.
I'm that first shopper.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I think part of it is because I've worked so hard to learn this information. So, when I looked at some of your slides, I'm like, oh, I have that. I have that. I have that. Oh, I'm good. Right. But,
Yay.
and when we get into the shapes, we can talk about, I know what mine is, and I'm sure you know what yours is. And we can talk about maybe different mental hangups that people have on those. So, do you want to go ahead and get started and let's talk about this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's add these slides in, and we're going to talk. I'm going to let you take over here and give us the information, girl.
All right. So what we're kind of going to go through first is there's 4 main body types. So we're going to talk about each one of those, what we typically like to highlight, and then some pieces that you should look for when going into the store. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about like if you want to get the best bang for your buck, what are some essential pieces that we feel every woman should have and really just kind of look good on anybody. So
Okay.
that's what we're gonna do. I'm so excited. So, all
Okay.
right,
You ready
body
to go?
type. Yep, let's go.
All right.
So
Here
the
we go.
first one is a triangle body type. So this is someone who has that tiny waist and then a little bit more of a voluptuous hip. So what we want to highlight here is the small waist. And what you're looking for when you're shopping is like some fitted tops, crop jackets, or belts to just kind of help accent that tiny waist to make you feel good. And remember, everyone loves those curves. So something you might feel very self-conscious about, many of us will look and be like, oh, I wish I had that body type.
Okay. So
So
we're going
that
to
is
come straight out of
the
the gate with
triangle.
my body type right here.
Yep.
And I am, other words for this, you may have heard fruit analogies. This is the
Mhm.
triangle, or I was raised with this was a pear.
Right.
So like I said, I put on my fitted white top today, right? I'm gonna stand up here, and I have on a belt to accentuate my waist, right? So like I'm doing
That's
all the right
awesome.
things. Um,
Yay.
but I will say, even looking, and I'm I'm small now, but with this size or with this style and this body type, I'm curious, what do most triangles tell you is their biggest body hang up?
A lot of times we'll hear it's the hips. And
Okay.
so how you have your shirt tucked in, that's great. I love it. Some people might feel very self-conscious of accenting the waist too much because then they
Hmm.
feel like it really accentuates that pair,
Hmm.
bottom half. So one of the things we talk about is doing like a front tuck and then
Hmm.
letting the shirt kind of hang on the side. That just kind of helps. So you still see the waist, you're
Yep.
still accenting it, but you can still help camouflage it a little bit if it's a little bit more of something you're a little self conscious about.
And that is, perfectly described my hang up, right? And even um, as I lose weight, even, now I'm getting, my goal this year is to be strong, right? So as I get stronger, my body changes just a little bit. It's already changing. I'm like losing inches, not much poundage, but so it's changing its shape. I'm always going to be a triangle. That's my body shape, right? That's just the
Right.
way I'm structured that way. And even I put this on and, standing in front of the mirror, I'm looking at it going, objectively, if this were somebody else walking down the street, you look phenomenal. But for me, I'm like, I can see my rear end. So I do that front tuck a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes too, like when someone has, journeyed on a weight loss, even though they've lost all that weight, sometimes they still see their bodies how it was,
Yeah.
and they still see those imperfections. So
Hmm.
that's where, like I said, you know, kind of teaching them a little bit and showing them some of these tricks we're going to talk about helps kind of push them past that a little bit and to appreciate how much hard work they've done. So,
Cool. All righty.
yeah.
So that's the triangle shape. The next one
Yep.
is,
The next one is the oval. So this is going to be someone who um, I think they kind of call it like an apple. If we're
yeah,
going shape
yep, I
versus
think it's an apple. Hmm.
fruit, yeah, it's more of that apple. Um, Highlighting your toned legs, you know, and some people might say, well, what if I don't have toned legs? Typically, the apple shape is kind of defined by the fact that the legs are toned and it's a little bit more round up top. So, what you're looking for when you're shopping are flowy tops because odds are you're maybe more self conscious about your midsection. Um, Fitted tops that have a flowy layer underneath that still kind of help give that. And also highlighting like a high waisted pant that will kind of like what I'm wearing,
Hmm.
where it's going to come up high but be nice and loose and baggy. So it's not going to accentuate something,
Mm.
but it's still going to give that waist, which typically this body type doesn't always have.
Okay.
Um, so the important thing is though, like there's flowy like a paper bag, and then there's flowy with structure.
Okay.
So and it's a fine line. So I'm always a big one. We've got to have some structure so that you don't lose your shape
Yeah,
entirely.
sure.
So this is also going to be a body type where like a skinny jean is going to be your best friend to help
Okay.
highlight and show off those toned legs that you have. So you can go flowy on top, skinny on bottom, and it just kind of balances that out a little bit.
Well, and these are the ones that, you walk in Walmart, and if they're wearing everything super fitted, then they really do look like an apple on a stick, right? Because
Right.
there are times that as a triangle, I look at their legs and go, "Oh, I wish I had their legs." Because mine are a little stockier, and but it's just where my body carries its weight, right? But for them, their
Right.
body doesn't carry the weight right there. So I grew up with some amazing musicians in my life, and one of them was really big into show tunes, and his daughter used to walk around singing accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Now that is all the way back from the big band era, but when you think about that, it's just a really good message, and it's exactly what you're saying here. Accentuate the positive aspects, and then mask, or not even, you can't eliminate, but don't accentuate them. Accentuate the things that you want people to look at. And even like, popping a collar and having your face, more framed is another way to do something like that.
Right. Exactly. And it, like I said, we call it camouflaging. We're just
Yes.
camouflaging, but we're camouflaging in plain clothing rather than in all over pattern.
I don't know. All over pattern is a lot of fun.
It is no, I like the camouflage pattern. So we camouflage in different
We're
ways.
not going camo. All right.
No, although I do love me a good camo piece.
Tell us about the next one.
All right, the next one is the rectangle body type. So this is someone that just feels very squarish. And I kind of bounce between the rectangle and an hourglass, depending on how much wine and cheese I choose to have. So with this body type, typically we see they've got really nice arms. They might have some nice toned legs, but there's not a lot of shape there. It just they feel kind of square. I don't know what kind of fruit we relate this to. This might not have a fruit. I think
I've
it's
heard of
just
this
a
as like
rectangle.
an athletic build, like an athletic body, more
Yes.
straight, just a
Yep.
whole lot of straight. And there's some women who their shoulders and their hip bones and everything's all the same width,
It's
all the way
just
down.
yes. Yep. So, and what we're looking for here when you are going shopping are textured tops. So, something that is really different on your top than your bottom, because then you're creating that separation. Um, and or vice versa, a textured bottom and a plain top is also, we could flip either one of those. An off shoulder top to help also give a little bit more shape, a little bit more interest with that diagonal neckline. And
Mm.
then two, so Kim, our mutual good friend, how we
Yes.
got introduced, she'll tell you I am a huge proponent of a side tuck.
Yes.
And that's where literally all you do is you take a chunk of your shirt and you just shove it in the side of your pants. And again, it creates this interesting waistline and interesting detail around the waist that just helps give shape where maybe shape isn't there. So
Mm.
that's kind of the big thing with the rectangle body is you're just trying to give shape. So belts are going to be really great for you. Um, Even like some Empire or some baby doll shirts where it
Mm.
gives the illusion of the shape to kind of help you out there.
There are plenty of times when people like me with the hips on the bottom look at somebody like this and think, I want to be straight. And because there are days I feel like that's who the clothes are made for.
Right. And I think too, like you said, as women, if we have curly hair, we want straight hair. If we have straight hair, we want curly hair. And that's just, I don't think I've ever talked to a woman that hasn't felt that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, we're just trying to show you like you have attributes that other women want, and you might not see them, but we do. And that's what we're trying to help people embrace and dress for.
How much straight up coaching do you end up doing in a situation like this? Like helping people with their self-esteem?
A lot. We have some customers where sometimes it just breaks your heart because we tell them and they just don't see it. And so just trying to help them over those hurdles, one, piece at a time. We are actually working above our fitting rooms, getting a saying that says in real big letters that you are beautiful.
Mm.
And then underneath saying you might not see it, but we do. And it's
Oh,
because of everything we're talking about. Like we have our own hangups, and sometimes it's just really hard to get past those, and we're not seeing ourselves how the rest of the world sees us.
yeah.
So, and that's why I opened this store because I was stuck in that, and I still get stuck in that. I think it's, human nature, but if we can help turn someone and just give that positive reinforcement, my hope is that one day, all of a sudden, that light switch flicks on and they notice it.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. And the more, I'm sitting here listening to you thinking, yeah, there's a lot of mindset work to do there.
yeah,
For
there
sure.
is.
All right.
All right. And the last body type. So, this is the one I think most people think about or think they want. Like, you always think of like Jessica Rabbit from that
Marilyn
movie.
Monroe.
And so it's, yeah, right. So it's the hourglass body type. So here, obviously, there's a big curve. You again have that really tiny waist. The The hang up here is that sometimes that waist is so tiny that, and maybe the breasts are so large that they're very self-conscious about that. So they're
Mm.
trying to minimize and not almost give themselves the rectangle shape.
Hmm.
So that's the hang up with the hourglass body type, is depending on what clothes you choose and how you style them, to make sure you don't lose the shape, but that you're not over accentuating something that you don't want to. So
Sure.
what you're looking for here is, if you're concerned about like your breasts and trying to minimize that, um, a V-neck is a really flattering neckline for you. Or again, like that off shoulder, something to just kind of take, draw the emphasis away. And then a darting waistline, which is just kind of like that pin tucking
Mm.
um, at the waistline to kind of add that interesting detail. Because again, you're curvy, so you're thinking we're kind of battling with the curves up here and the curves down here. And so the darting kind of helps draw the eyes away, and but also bring your eyes up so that you kind of follow that flow.
Cool. And there, when you go looking at, let's just talk about fitted shirts, blouses like this. Like I stood up a minute ago, you can see, even though I'm not an hourglass for sure, I've got plenty of darts. I don't know, can you see that? I've
Oh
got
yeah,
plenty of
that's the
darts. So
structure we're talking about.
yeah, so when you pick it up on the rack, if I look at it and I don't see anything in there, that means it's going to balloon out on my waist, right? So it's
Right.
like straight up and down. But when it has some darts in there, when you hold it up and it actually has a little bit of a curve to it, there you go.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and
really
that's like I
helpful.
said, and sometimes when you don't have that, I can show you when we go to the next piece. I'll show you in a second how you can maybe add some structure without
Okay.
a shirt having structure. But
Mm,
if you have that hourglass body type and you're picking up a shirt that has no structure, that's where you're going to kind of get that body to look like a rectangle, because it's going to
mm,
hang from here to here. And if you
sure.
do nothing else with the shirt, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come out of our dressing room and say, I don't like this shirt.
Yeah.
And as soon as we, play with it or show you some of our tricks, it's amazing how all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I love it now. So it's just kind of knowing those little things and how to maybe create structure or create a waistline when it's not there.
Okay. So really quick, I have a question about V-necks. Is
Yes,
this the only body type that can really use them, or is it just this body type looks the best in a V-neck?
it's this body type. Typically, we find they're trying to minimize their breasts, so that looks really good all the time. Um, any body type really can wear it. It really is like that personal preference too, because obviously we have women of all ages come to our shops, and
Mm,
sometimes a certain age group will just be like, I'm too old to wear a V-neck, which I think is hooey fooey, because we're not defined by our clothes and we're not defined by our age. If it makes you feel good, you need to wear it. But we appreciate what people feel. And so helping them, like pairing a tank top underneath so that it
mm,
still has the line of the V-neck, but is maybe more conservative.
mm.
Um, or another thing we'll do is like we'll do a high neck shirt for them, but then maybe like the peekaboo shoulders so that they're still getting a little bit of that skin, creating a little bit of that interest and dynamic there.
Okay. Because I keep wanting to wear V-necks, and on me, as a triangle, they I feel like they're falling off my shoulders, quite frankly. So I don't do well with a V-neck because I don't have anything to hold it up there. So that's why I don't. And but I was just curious because I have friends
Well, and
who
there's
go ahead.
yeah, there's varying degrees of the V-neck too. So like
Yeah.
you would probably do well more with like the sport or athletic version of a V-neck, because it's
Yes.
not going to be as wide.
Right.
Whereas like the deep V that we're kind of maybe talking about here with like the hourglass, yes, because you've got the broader shoulders, so you've got more room for that wider
Yeah.
V to sit on.
Okay. All right then. So, what are the essentials that we should all have?
Yes. So one of my good friends, his name is George. He's a fashion stylist in New York City, George Brescia. He said every woman needs a white button-up shirt for various reasons. Case in point, look at how lovely you are. And I love you have the collar pop, you have the necklace, you have the bright pant. Like we need to get out of thinking that a white collared shirt is just for a suit or black pants. Like there are
I'm not a
so many
waiter.
different ways. Right. So, I brought in, and forgive me, Mama 3. My collared shirt is probably not as pressed as what it
Hang on,
should
I'm going
be.
to do this. You can see it a little better. There we go.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've got my white collared shirt does not have structure. It is more of just that blousey type. But then that's where even think about it as a jacket and you
Mm-hmm.
can throw it over. Or because it doesn't have shape, I'm going to give it shape just by tying it
Smart.
around my waist and then kind of buttoning it up. And now I've transformed my overalls, which maybe aren't as professional, into something that looks a little more professional just by popping on my white collared shirts.
There you go. And popping the collar.
So,
I'm an 80s
and pop
girl.
the collar. I love popping the collar. It's so much fun.
It just, and when you put it in a white shirt, it just feels very couture.
Right.
You
And
know.
that's, think of a white shirt, skinnies, a flat, and a big bag. And it's a classic look that
Yeah.
anyone can pull off.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What is our next essential piece?
The next essential piece is a blazer. If you are a customer of ours, you know that I love jackets and blazers. And so this is something I want to just show. Like sometimes when women think of blazers, they think of the typical black blazer, again, a pantsuit, that
Sure.
kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one, it's a blazer, it's really fun, but I'm pairing it what we do a lot here called pairing the unexpected. So we picked a
Ooh.
graphic tee and a skinny, and then we put them together. So you have this fitted, beautiful blazer, and then you've got a graphic t-shirt underneath it. And this is great for someone who maybe like there's a shell under here. So she was at the office during the day and then she's meeting girlfriends out right after. She throws her t-shirt over the top, maybe knots it right here.
Mm.
And you've got a completely different look that's a little bit edgy, a little bit trendy. And pair it with some fun earrings and you're good to go.
Cute.
So, but then you've got the flexibility that if you are more of a business person and you need to be dressed up, this can be functional for that as well.
Yeah. That's a
So
cute
a
one.
good blazer, whether it's got a pattern or if it's plain, a good blazer is always a good thing for your buck.
Alrighty.
All right, denim jacket. So this is not any denim jacket. I'm
Okay.
saying get a denim jacket that you are in love with, one that is stretchy and
Mm.
comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many. I am known in the store. I have 14 denim jackets. And that was like a year ago that I counted. So I probably have gotten more. So I love me a good denim jacket. But if you are unlike me and you just need one, which most
Mm.
people really only need one,
Mm-hmm.
what you want to look for is some stretch and again, the structure so that
Okay.
it's got lines and it can give shape. And a lot of times, if you're not going to be layering a lot of things underneath your denim jacket, you want to go down a size because that's going to help give the shape. I don't close my denim jacket, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
need it to be able to come in front of me and close. That's what makes
Mm-hmm.
it look boxy. So you go
Right.
down a size so that it stays open and gives you a little bit more shape, or
Well,
that you can see the waist underneath.
sorry, I'm hearing my and some of this is just understanding the difference between what denim jackets were for James Dean and what they are for us today. And I don't have
Right.
a denim jacket, like a blue denim jacket right now. I need to find me a good one, but I do have a white one that meets all of those standards. And so for me, and it is small, right? So if I put any much underneath it, it kind of feels a little, but and I don't know if it buttons or not. I just know that it fits me through the shoulders, nice and tailored, and
Mm-hmm.
I do feel it feels nice and small. So
Yeah, and a denim jacket, like you could do blue, you could do white, you could do black. Like the color doesn't necessarily matter because as long as it's a neutral, I have a gray denim jacket that I wear all the
mm,
time because it's just a little bit different. And some people don't love wearing like blue jeans on top of blue jeans, like a
mm,
blue jean with a blue jean at bottom. But
I'm
so
that
by
way.
having a white, I never
Right.
thought I would ever do that, and I have come to love it. So you never know.
I,
I can
I
keep
can
poking
do
on you and
I
maybe we
can
can
do tone
convince you.
on tone. I can do tone on tone, but most of the time I need some kind of contrast. And I think part of that's because my body, and the smaller I get, the more in proportion similar my body gets. But for the longest time, I
Hmm.
was so small on top, and so the sizes were so different that I needed that contrast. But
Right.
I've had hot pink. I've had um, yellow. So yeah, I love the bright
Yeah.
colors.
Right. So, and the biggest thing is that the denim jacket doesn't have to be uncomfortable, that it should be comfortable so that you do want to wear it more than just once.
Cool. All right.
Okay, and the last essential, this may seem kind of like a, yeah, of course I need this, but a really good pair of denim. And that might mean that you have to spend a little bit more than, $25 at a big box store. So a good denim is worth its weight in the penny that you spend on it.
Okay. You can
And
buy your kids' clothes at Costco,
right,
but please don't buy your jeans at Costco.
please don't buy your jeans there. Also, please don't put your blue jeans in the dryer because a lot of times everyone thinks they put them in the dryer because that makes the jeans smaller and they fit better. But really, what the dryer does is it breaks the denim material and it causes your blue jeans to get baggier faster. So, actually, industry standard is that you don't wash your blue jeans. But with me being a former teacher, there was no way I was not washing my blue jeans. So,
I
gentle
will say,
cycle and then hang to dry.
okay, I don't, which cycle?
Like the gentle wash cycle,
Really?
and then, yep, hang to dry.
Does it take like 3 weeks to dry?
No.
Really?
And if it's so the denim we have here in store, it will be like, because everyone's like, well, then it's not soft. It's
Yeah.
crunchy when I put it on. Our denim is crunchy for about 10 seconds, and then it goes back to feeling to the same old denim that you love.
I did not expect to have my mind completely blown. Um,
See, I'm always full of surprises.
well, but here's the thing. You described me to a T, right? I want my jeans to shrink back down. And
Right.
so because I think that the only thing that looks worse than jeans that are way too tight are jeans that are just too big. And
Right.
so making sure that they fit, I think, is really, really important. And with all the stretch, really good ones, really good stretchy ones tend to hold their shape for longer. But
Right. And that's where I am a fan. And I know the fashion world today is going towards more of a wide leg denim. But I think the skinny jean has become one of those staples. And it
mm,
really is a denim that looks good on 99%. I'm not going to say it looks good on everybody because,
mhm.
we'll have that one person that then sends me a message and says, skinny jeans don't look good on me. But 99% of the women, skinny jeans do look really good on if we can accentuate the top half correctly.
Right.
And so you're looking for something that's got good stretch to it. It's going to hold their shape, again, have some structure to it, but it's going to be really comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and the other important thing to note is just because something is on trend doesn't mean that it's going to work for your body type. So,
Mm,
that straight leg jean is super on trend, and you will never, ever, ever see me wear it because I have what I call jokingly my muscular calves. They're really not muscles, they're just very curvy.
mine are
And so,
too. Yeah.
a straight leg, it's straight. And then all of a sudden, I have this weird bulge at the bottom of my
Mm,
leg because my
mm,
calves are so it I could want to wear a straight leg jean as much as I possibly want to, and it just will never work for me.
mm.
And that's okay because I can take something else that's on trend and on fashion and put that in my wardrobe instead.
Sure.
So that's just something, just listen to your body type. And just because something is fashionable doesn't mean that it might work. It might, and it's definitely worth a try. But if it doesn't, don't get discouraged because then there's something else out there for you.
Yeah, and be willing to try new things, and it's all just data that you're collecting. It says nothing about you as a person if it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
This has been fabulous. I learned something new, and I loved seeing the really cute ideas that you have, and I hope that this was really helpful to our listeners. Where I've put on the bottom of the screen here your Facebook page, and you do lives that show off new clothes and things that are in your store, what, twice a week?
Yep, we do Monday nights at 7:30 Central Standard Time and Thursday mornings. We skipped the one this morning because we got to come and hang out with you today. Um, but we've gotten so many new arrivals. I had told our followers we'd probably jump on later and do a sneak peek video for them as well anyway.
Great. So
Um,
they can catch all of
yeah.
this here. Yeah, good. So is there anything that we've missed, that we've left out?
Oh boy. I don't think so. I think we
Okay.
covered them.
And they can shop directly from your Facebook page or from your actual website, correct? Because we
Yep.
don't all live in Sheboygan. And
And actually, very exciting, we just launched an app. So in your app
oh,
store or your Play Store, if you search Mainstream Boutique Sheboygan, we have an app now. So you can shop from there.
okay, Main Street Boutique. I'm putting that on the screen.
Sheboygan.
Comma, is
Okay.
it comma? Sheboygan. Yeah, I can't spell.
That's okay.
And so this is in the App Store. That's where you want to look for
Yep.
it. And
Or
so you
the
can
Play
swap.
Store.
Or okay, yes. Sorry, I'm an Apple user. Um, so we can find you there. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to put the Facebook one back up there so that anybody who wants to catch those lives this week, they can have a lot of fun. I appreciate it so much. And for those of you who are in the Facebook group, this will go over into the guides. And for everybody else, this is going over my YouTube channel. So check that out as well. Dana, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Me too. Have a great day.
You as well. Bye, guys.